At no time in the history of the Naira since it was rechristened in 1973 has it suffered this much. Today, it stands at a terribly, unbelievably exchange rate against the dollar and the pound. Nearly 900 naira to a dollar and more than 1,300 naira to the pound. At the start of a new week, things may even get worse. Let's take one scenario for example. The summer travel season was eagerly anticipated by numerous travelers who were planning to go on their yearly holidays. The devaluation of the naira may disrupt the plans of holiday travelers, making this year's summer less predictable. Airfares have surged to an unparalleled level as a result of the depreciation of the naira. Now, in his election campaign, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu pledged to bring together the various exchange rates in the country, a move that would deter arbitrage and foster greater capital inflow. Before the naira devaluation, airlines in the country have been grappling with forex and aviation fuel scarcity, which have impacted their operating cost and forced them to review airfares upward. The challenge of trapped funds of international airlines also made Nigerian travelers pay more for flight tickets than their counterparts in neighboring countries. The rising cost of aviation fuel, aircraft maintenance, and other operational expenses have forced airlines to pass on the burden to consumers. As a result, the dream of an affordable summer getaway has become increasingly elusive for many travelers. As summer begins and travelers eagerly plan their vacations, the unprecedented surge in airfares serves as a stark reminder of the economic realities of the present. Now, Mr. Nick Abule, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Mr. Victor, hi, are you with us as well? Mr. Victor, hi, are you with us as well? All right, Mr. Nick, it's quite unfortunate to see that the pound or the naira to the pound is literally 1,300. And of course, the dollar to the naira is above 900 naira, basically in the black market. What would this say currently for what the president talked about floating the naira? The idea was to deregulate the bureau de change sector where other individuals can actually sell dollars or sell pounds, aside the Central Bank of Nigeria. What exactly is happening?
Thank you very much. It's actually breaking news to me to hear that the pound is now gone up to 1,300 naira. That is serious. That's really serious. And the dollar is almost getting 1,000 naira before you get one of it. That's really serious. However, I am in full support of the currency policy, the foreign exchange policy, which the current government has taken. And the reason why I'm in full support is that what was operated before now was a criminal enterprise, was a
Okay.
big criminal enterprise. What was operated now is not being done in any of the developed world that we hope to be a member of. Nigeria has had visions in the past, Vision 2020, all sorts of visions that make us aspire to become a developed nation. And there's no developed nation in the world that keeps two markets for foreign exchange. And these two markets that were being kept, there was the regular market that everybody can go to, and then there was a market for privileged people. At the twilight of the Buhari government, the difference between the price of the dollar in the market for everybody and the market for privileged people was topping 300 naira, which is called the arbitrage. So the market for everybody, the dollar then was like 750, and then it was like 450 in the so-called official market. And the only thing people needed to do then was have access to the dollars in the so-called official market. So if you were able to lay your hands on $1 million in the so-called official market, you pay the central bank 450 million naira, they transfer $1 million to you. You see the alert. And immediately you saw the alert, You are off straight to a malam or someone in the parallel market or the so-called black market, and you are negotiating rates with them. And if you agree they do 750, you ship the $1 million, they put 750 million naira in your account. So what has happened? 450 million left your account, an inflow of 750 has now replaced it. 300 million naira for doing nothing. 300 million naira for punching your phone to transfer 1 million, 450 million naira to the CBN, and then transfer $1 million that you got to the buyer in the parallel market. And this is how people were making money on top of our commonwealth. And it's our commonwealth because the dollars that were allocated to this person I'm giving the illustration were dollars from crude oil sales. So instead of using the crude oil sales to develop Nigeria, build hospitals, schools, roads, electricity, water, and all of that, they were busy using this crude oil sales, which is money for all Nigerians, to give it to some privileged people who had access to that so-called official market. So that what was happening was not sustainable. It was not going to stand the test of time, even though it was with us for decades.
All right.
So
Mr. Nick, Mr. Nick,
yes.
I need to come in here because at the end of the day, in as much as you say this, what is at play is a good thing for us. But the question now is, at the moment, for the poor Nigerian, you do know that this will affect food prices. There's going to be inflation. In as much as the government has set a state of emergency on food, the National Security Council. My question to you is that at the moment, is the poor breathing?
Okay, so I understand that, and I know that with the markets now unified, and you need almost 1,000 naira now to get a single dollar. I understand the pains that is going to bring, but there are certain times that if you want to heal a sick body, you take drastic action, like even amputation. There are times that doctors sever a limb off your body in a bid to heal you. And that is what is happening here now.
Mr. Nick,
That
this is the
yes,
reason why I'm asking this. Nigerians are just coming out of an administration that stifled them, literally plunged them into multi-dimensional poverty. The current administration promised in its campaign to create a sense of reprieve, literally saying, please let the poor breathe. And then you come on board, aggressively remove subsidy, even if it was definitely going to take place. There was no palliative measures, no subsidizing in any form, either for food or transport or anything. And then the naira again has come on board, this same naira which was to let the poor breathe. So my question to you is, for the common man who may not actually understand the semantics of what you're explaining, is what happens to them in this process while we're trying to amputate the pain first before the gain? What happens? Do they really need to suffer more before we are able to see what the possible advantage or the future effect these policies will help us gain?
certainly the government's core mandate to Nigerians is provision of welfare and security.
Okay.
So why the government is taking these actions, they should come across to the people with welfare packages that will ameliorate the pains that are being suffered. But what we're dealing with here was a fundamental structural issue with the Nigerian selling dollars at a subsidized rate in one market, and then there was another market where this thing was floated. It was not going to help our economy. And let me tell you one thing. We ask ourselves, the people that the central bank was giving dollars, what were the main things that they were supposed to use this dollar to do? One, education. When you had a child abroad and you wanted to pay school fees, pay the accommodation, pay for everything, you go to the central bank. If the dollar becomes too expensive for parents who have their children abroad, and abroad in Nigeria can mean Sudan, can mean Benin Republic, where Nigeria are sending children to, and collecting dollars from the central bank. Bring your children home. We have good universities in Nigeria. Why we cannot vouch for public universities? The private universities in Nigeria are good enough. Some of them have better quality than the universities in Sudan, Ukraine, where Nigerians were going. The other thing that Nigerians were collecting money from the central bank to go and do is medical, you know. And we have good hospitals in Nigeria. Yes, the public hospitals are a write-off, but there are good private hospitals in Nigeria. You know, the other thing they were collecting dollars was to go to Disneyland, go to London, go to these places and do holidays. And if the dollar becomes too expensive for them, if they think about Obudukatu Ranch, they think about Kogosu Warm Spring, they think about just taking a flight from Lagos to Abuja. There are some people in that Lagos who travel abroad for holiday. They've never been to Abuja to see where Abuja is. You understand? If Nigerians now turn their taste and face inward, then the economy will begin to grow.
So you're saying that this will curb frivolous expenses, this will curb frivolous traveling, and possibly help, you know, those who can afford it harness the potentials in the country more to boost the economy.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because if they are not, if they are sending their kids to schools in Nigeria, then universities in Nigeria are the ones that will have money. They will employ more teachers. They will expand the courses they are offering. The same thing with hospitals. They will expand. They will employ people, and then that's where the benefit will start coming from for all Nigerians.
Okay.
So,
then. Well, thank you very much, Nick, for your views there. Some Nigerians will argue with you that even the schools are suffering from incessant strike actions. Traveling to Obudu, Cattle Ranch, and the rest of them, one would even consider airfares. Airfares within Nigeria now is skyrocketing. You know, it's averagely about 133 naira right now to go within Nigeria. This is something that used to be
domestic flights.
Domestic flights.
It's unfortunate.
This is something that used to be 24 naira.
Or even
24,000
or
24,500 at some point,
okay,
and 30,000 at some point as well. So airlines are complaining about the fact that they cannot even take the monies. You know, they can't repatriate funds, and so flights are increasing and all of that. Let me come to Victor now. Now, Victor, are you with us now, Victor? I hear that there was a little glitch there, but you're back with us. Victor, well, you might need to unmute your microphone so we can hear you clearly.
Okay, if Victor is not there,
all right, still trying to. I think it's a network, maybe a weather thing. A weather thing is affecting Victor's audio quality. Well, Nick, now let's stay with you. Unfortunately, we'll have to stay with you on this one.
That's true.
Nick. Now, yes.
Can you give me space to respond to the two things you mentioned?
Go ahead,
all right,
please.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. The first thing you mentioned was that local flights are now very expensive, which
yes,
I agree. So if a flight from Lagos to Abuja is now 133,000, think about a family of 4. You know, that's husband, wife, and 2 kids. They are going to spend less than 500,000 to fly from Lagos and enjoy a holiday at the Hilton in Abuja. But if they were to go to Disneyland, their tickets will cost like 2 to 3 million each. So 4 of them are going to pay over 10 million in tickets. So what they will spend on the local flight will be infinitesimal compared to what they will spend on going on that foreign holiday.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So this is going to bring them closer home.
All right, Mr. Bule, let's look at hospitality. Let's look at businesses that rely on the dollar or the pound, you know, for whatever form of exchange. We do know now that it has become more expensive, and it means that for their businesses to stay afloat, they definitely have to inflate at their own end. And these are domestic businesses. You know, you're actually saying that with the way the naira to the dollar or the naira to the pound is, it would discourage, you know, a lot of frivolous expenses of traveling out of the country, which will have to make them invest more here, invest their money here. But let's look at businesses that, there are international businesses, businesses that operate within this country that has to do with, the naira and the pounds. Don't you think that this would literally crunch these businesses? Remember that these businesses pay people salaries. These businesses have people under their employ that they have to sustain, that they have to take care of. When things get inflated, and of course, considering the current economic realities, don't you think this will call for a measure to either cut down or possibly close up?
Okay, so let me hold my thoughts on this. I will respond to it quickly.
Okay.
I didn't finish my second thought.
All right.
My second thought was that, we talked about the airlines being unable to repatriate their monies. Okay? This was a problem that was created in these two markets. Because what happened was that the central bank told the airlines to sell their tickets at the central bank's rate. Meaning, if the airline sold a ticket at 450 naira, the central bank was now the one to give them the dollar to repatriate.
Okay.
And the central bank did not have the dollar to give them because the NNPC was no longer dropping dollars in the coffers of the CBN. But what we have now, airlines are selling their tickets at the normal floated rate. That issue will die a natural death. Because if they sell a ticket at 900 and something naira to a dollar, there is somebody who is waiting to buy their dollar to give them the dollars and collect 900 and something naira. So the market is now free, and the issues that were created with this dual market, including the inability of the airlines to repatriate the almost $1 billion that was trapped in Nigeria, is gone. Yeah. Now, let me answer the question as regards businesses that depend on maybe imported raw materials, imported spares, have experts on their payroll and all of that. Yes, these businesses are going to experience a hike in their cost. What they will do is that they will try to pass some of the cost to their consumers for so long as there is price elasticity. Costs that they are unable to pass to their consumers, they will have to absorb it. And as they absorb those costs, it becomes painful for them. Then they begin to look inward. Like a business that was going to Ukraine to go and import wheat. They will now start thinking, can we grow wheat in Nigeria? Because it's going to be far cheaper for us this wheat here in Nigeria than to go to Ukraine. And ultimately, after this painful episode, when those businesses take the decision to start investing in backward integration in Nigeria, to get their raw materials here and to manufacture some of their spares here and all of that, it will be the better for our economy. Because the jobs that we don't have will not start to be created. So that's what's going to happen. So for me, we have to endure these pains.
All right, you've been insisting on us enduring. But is the market open? The idea is to deregulate the access to, either the dollar or the pounds, whereby it's not only the CBN that would have to supply this. So is the market eventually open for others to supply? Because most, feelers are that it is still the CBN still supplying forex. It is still them, having to determine. Other private individuals who can actually be part of those businesses maybe they've not been given the free hand to, and possibly that's why we're still experiencing what we're experiencing. So the question is, when will the market eventually be open, flexible enough, where others who intend to be part of this business can commence at that?
I think the market is today, because see what happened. On the 29th of May, 2023, on the day of the inauguration of President Tinubu, the CBN rate, which they call the I&E window, the importers and exporters window, was about 400 and I think 70 something to a dollar. And the parallel market, or the so-called black market, was 700 and something. So when the markets were unified, it is the CBN's rate that collapsed and the parallel market rate started ruling. So it is no longer CBN supplying dollars now. Diaspora Nigerians are now supplying dollars. You have oil companies in Nigeria. Do you know there are oil companies in Nigeria, the likes of Shell and the likes of Chevron? I work for some of the oil companies in Nigeria.
Okay.
The entirety of their revenue is in dollars. But they have humongous cost in Naira that they must meet, including salaries to their local staff,
Yes.
offices, and all that. So of necessity, they sell dollars, which they make from oil sales, to get Naira so that they can meet their local cost. They also supply dollars in the market. Now, what was happening was that there were all sorts of shenanigans with the system. That they will say, oh, you cannot deposit more than $10,000 in your account. You
Yes.
cannot withdraw more than this in your account. You cannot do all sorts kind of racketeering. Now it's open. You can deposit what you want. You can withdraw what you want. And now the central bank says, if you deposit dollars, the banks can convert your dollar to Naira at the ruling market rate, which if today you are saying is 900 Naira, is what you will get. Before, if I was a diaspora and I sent my dollar to my DOM account in Nigeria, the bank in Nigeria will convert my money at CBN's rate of 400 and something. When I could have taken my dollar to a malam and sold it at 700 and something. But now that the bank in Nigeria is going to convert my dollar at 900 and something, then it's an encouragement for me to put my dollars through the banking system. I don't have any gain again taking my dollars to a malam, because what the malam will give me is what the bank will give me. So all these things are going to help with the liquidity, and it will get to a time when as we have less demand for the dollar, you will now see that Naira will start strengthening. That is when the benefit of the pains we're enduring now will start coming in.
All right, the Nigerians cannot wait to have their pains alleviated. Indeed. A lot is going on right now. Nigerians are having to grapple with a whole lot, and adding pain to the injury that Nigerians are facing right now is not something that they want to experience. So we must say a very big thank you to you, Nick Agule, public affairs commentator, joined us all the way from the UK. We appreciate you staying with us on the program today.
Thank you very much, and have a nice day, our viewers.
And we'll call on you again, and we do hope you will oblige us again.
Not a problem. It's what I said I will do, that if I retire, I will give myself back to country. So I'm very happy doing this.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Also, big thanks to Victor Okai. Now, we do know that you tried a whole lot to fix the glitches with the network. We appreciate your time with us. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get into business, entertainment, and sports. Stay with us.